Carmen.
Yes.
Why do you always say it like I'm going to ask you to please stab yourself?
Because that's the way I feel when you say my name.
Your look on your face the other day when we were talking in Spanish and he lied to us is fantastic.
Yeah.
And it's captured on YouTube. Like I looked at YouTube.
God.
I went to Calta.tv and there's all of our YouTube videos up there. And there's a picture of you and you look like you've just seen the most horrific thing. And I listened to it to see what it was, and it was the point where Spanish was lying to us, and you were just so shocked by it. You were blown away.
Yeah, because like I just and like I've said before, like I'm so like I don't know, I don't have words for this because he is to a point that none of us can help him.
Yeah.
Because and I just like think back to when we called it out and we were like, there's a direct correlation to your skin and her, right? And he was like, I knew you all were gonna say that. That's why I didn't tell you. And it like that right there is when it clicked. Like there is nothing that we can do, say, or anything.
Yeah.
It's gonna be on him to realize it. It's gonna be whatever. Like something is going to have to happen, but no one is gonna be able to get through to him. And it was like in that moment when he was lying, all those things that he had said like were coming back, and it just made me realize. And it's sad. And it's like, because it's like we are helpless in this situation when we're trying to help someone that we care about.
Yeah, I get it. I feel the same way. I mean, that look of shock on your face is how I felt inside when it went down. So I was blown away.
Yeah. And then on top of that, just lying, just one lie after another. And then it's just like, what? No. Like, and because my other thing is like, I know if there's nothing you can say to make him snap out of whatever trance or whatever's happening in his life, there is nothing I can say. I know that. You know what I mean? Like, there's a level of people and stuff.
Right. I know what you're saying.
And if it's not you that can get through to him, there is no one that can get through to him.
There's a couple things. One, her genuine shock, whatever. I think we all knew that was the answer, but him admitting the answer was the shocking part. Whatever.
Him admitting the answer after a half hour of lies.
Right. Of all the different things that he said. Yeah. And, we've all been in that situation before. Have seen something or watching a movie and you're like, yeah, I knew it. One of those type of things. But also, Carmen, you've heard it a million times. You can't help somebody who doesn't want help.
Right. And that's where I came up with, my past and dealing with drug addicts growing up and stuff like that. Like it's that feeling. It is a helpless feeling and stuff like that. And
not saying that he's on drugs.
Exactly.
We just don't know that it's the same feeling.
Not saying that he is, but his excuses, his actions, it's a very addictive
addiction-based responses. Yeah.
Exactly, and that's
I don't even know if those are the right words. It just sounded a little bit better.
But you know where I'm going with. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, and it's one of those things, and I know that feeling, and I know what it's like to be in this position, and it sucks because again, there is nothing we can do, and it's one of those like, I want to help you. We're here helping you. We've been trying to help you.
I got to tell you, I'm not in that group anymore. I don't want to.
Well,
I'm
done. And honestly, that's where I am too, because I told my adolescence was taken from me by drug addicts. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I didn't get the attention. I
need to break through this story. Who is the drug addict?
Mima?
No, we have.
David?
We're not, nope. We have, and we're not getting into it again.
All right, that's fine.
So, but just know, like, you know what I mean? Like, I was going to get sent to military school because someone else was on drugs. How does that make sense?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I was going to get kicked off of a basketball team because someone else was on drugs.
And now we all suffer.
Right, exactly. Yeah. Now we got to get the revenge.
Yeah.
And poor Carmen, you might be saying, but her dad her dad had all those women trapped in the basement.
No, that's not true either. Yeah. But I'm just saying, it's one of those things. So I always said, like, after that, like, I'm never going to let someone else's addiction take from my life. You know what I mean? And
you can't. Yeah,
right.
That's smart.
And that's the thing. Like he's not. I don't know what it is. But like he may be just addicted to love or addicted to not being single or whatever that is.
Yeah.
But like seeing that is knowing that I can't help him. It sucks and it hurts. But again, I can't let that disrupt my life.
I
And
had a friend of mine that was addicted to love. Robert
Robert Palmer. Yeah. We all tried to help him. He had always those girls around him all the
just
time.
couldn't help it.
Might as well just face it.
Yeah, that's what I used to say to him all the time, Joe. So you might as well face it. And I go, why do these girls all have white faces? That's
I
so
went to
weird.
his house. The lights were on.
Yeah.
No one
Nobody
was
home.
home.
Nobody
Yeah.
home.
It was crazy.
Yeah.
And the other thing that sucks is, you know what? It's been exactly a year from the last time.
Yes.
From when he had to take a month off from his skin problems. Because I was in Michigan and I'm getting pictures of memories of me back in Michigan helping with my uncle and stuff. Like right now. So it's been exactly 1 year.
Joe,
Yes.
now that it's been exactly 1 year.
Yes.
What was going on during that month?
I actually that was when I went to New York.
For a month?
Were you both gone?
No, you were only
Yeah.
gone for like a week.
Yeah, I was gone for a week.
But he was.
okay.
But Spanish was out of work for almost a month and a half at that time.
Yeah, but
That can't be right. Is that
it-
right?
No,
It was-
after that though. Right?
No.
Yeah.
He left when I was in Michigan because I remember him calling me saying, I haven't been putting stuff on the website. Do you think Mike is going to be mad? I'm at home. I can't do anything. And I'm like, why are you at home? He's like, my skin broke out and Mike doesn't want me around his family.
Oh,
Did I ever say that?
No.
And
Well,
the-
we didn't
well,
want him in here.
Yeah.
right. But because we didn't know what it was.
Yeah, he did have
he-
something going on because
there was no answers. But I remember he left when I was in Michigan. And when I came back, he was still gone for a period of time.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because he couldn't get answers from the doctors.
Yeah. Well, can I just tell you that how old am I? I'm at the age of where I don't remember all this stuff.
And
Like
it's
I
only
remember vague. I remember he was out for a little while, but I don't remember. Is it possible Joe and Spanish were out at the same time?
No.
And then you were in Michigan too. So who was doing the show? It was just the three of us left.
no Dizzy. That's where Core 4 came from.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because Dizzy was running the board. I was gone in Michigan. 2 days into that, Spanish had couldn't figure out what was going on, and Joe had to leave for 2 days for some family thing as well.
Okay, all right,
But
that
that-
makes a little more sense.
And that's where Core 4 came from.
That was a
Mike,
great time.
Calvin, Gio, and Dizzy. You know what? Screw you, Dick, Gio.
I mean, I look back fondly on that time.
Well, well, that's really weird that it's been exactly a year.
And like I said, the only reason why I know this is because I'm getting memories from 1 year ago, and I got to see my niece for the first time. So I have a bunch
Right.
of pictures of me and her that just keep popping up. You know,
Well, this show that everything happens on the show, and we're as honest as we can be with people, and this is where we're at right now. I can tell you that he is not here on this show and will not be anymore. I don't know surprisingly, I don't hire and fire people on the radio station, so I don't know what his employment status is with the radio station. I don't know as far as Sad Weirdos and the other stuff goes. I don't really know what goes on with that. I'm not concerned with anything that happens after 10 o'clock. So, but I could tell you as far as this show, he's not on the show anymore. So that's that. And if you want to find out, the other thing is, and I'm trying to break this to you people gently, we appreciate that you listen to the show. We are not here for personal catch-up time like when you miss something. We were talking about this off the air. Hey, I missed the show the other day. What happened with Spanish? Well, let me tell you, Bob. First, we had a problem, and then a year ago it started. We're not doing that. There's 2 million
Can I
people.
just
that
call
listen.
you?
Yeah, there's 2 million
just come
people that
up.
listen to the show. We can't do that with everybody. But we do have the YouTube channel where you can go and you can catch up on all this stuff. Calta.tv will take you right there. And you can see that picture that I was talking about of Carmen's face. It's sad and crazy at the same time. But you can catch up on all the stuff you missed. That's where basically everything happens. So it's I don't know. I mean, Joe, it's got to be weirdest for you
It is. I mean,
because
it's-
you're Titus.
is he even at Pants Island?
no, I have not seen him. So
You haven't seen him since Tuesday?
no, since Monday. He came with me to sign some documents with my dad in a because I had to move him, and I'm getting power of attorney to my son. so
This is you're like HBO. You know when HBO when they're like a new feature, it's like da-na-na-na-na-na-na-na-na. But then when they're like it's a special about a parent who killed their kids, they're like that's how you talk. You talk like based on what the topic is about.
Well, I mean, it's a
You're like,
sensitive,
let's drink, and then you're like, well, we went to go to my dad's house.
it's a sensitive. You know, I haven't seen him in over 10 years.
I believe that's called normal human emotion. I don't think you want people coming in going, my grandma died.
I have none of that inside me. None of it. I'm sorry, Joe. Go ahead. So Monday, you guys went to go sign some papers.
Right. So we signed the papers. He was fine. We, actually had a decent enough time. I hadn't seen my dad in at least 10 years.
Oh, really?
Yeah. That was the first time.
Could you go 10 years without talking to your dad?
Not a million years.
I did in the first half of my life, but in the second half of my life, now that I've got a great relationship with my dad, no way.
I mean, I went 42 years without seeing mine.
Oh, but you had that lovely stepdad.
Yeah.
But it was fine.
Yeah.
I saw him for the first time. We hugged. I was like, hey, how you doing? Whatever. And it was like, he was joking around like he usually did. But he's old, really super old now. He's 90.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
Yeah. So we got back to the house, and then Anthony left, and that was it. I haven't seen him.
I haven't seen him since.
And Tuesday was when all that went
Tuesday
down.
was when all the
But he and
S hit the fan.
but all of his stuff is like his clothes and stuff is at your house. Have you
Yeah.
checked his room?
Yeah, his door's open.
Okay.
if you
I'm
just
just
open the door
wondering.
and
I
say,
don't-
"What's up?"
by it, I see
well, that's what I'm saying. Like, what if he went there during the show or something? I don't know, but
No,
I'm-
Mama Pants would tell me.
Yeah,
Okay.
there's pants security there.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. You're not getting into the pants palace.
I'm all mobbed up with the pantses.
Pants Palace is my new favorite. Yeah. I like that. Yeah.
And tighten the belt.
So, all right. I haven't talked to him.
I haven't talked to him.
No.
I have not talked to him either.
Not through text or anything either?
No.
Interesting.
Dizzy told me something like the next day, and it just made me know that everything that I feel is true.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
What?
That he doesn't understand what the big deal is.
He did not take any responsibility. He said the problem was that we were talking about it.
Yeah. Oh, trust me. I've heard from
And-
other people who do talk to him that it's my fault.
And exactly, and I'm just like, and hearing that again, that just brings back that addict-like behavior that again, I'm not claiming or saying that he is on drugs. I am saying he is acting like an addict, and I don't know and cannot deal with that.
So it's interesting because there was a guy named Brent who worked on this show with me who has since passed away. He worked with me on the country station, and towards the end of the country station, I felt like he might have a drug problem. And he had been in a car accident, and in the car accident, both his shoulders were dislocated, and he had to beep the horn with his face to try and get attention for somebody to help him.
And unfortunately, doctors, a lot of times, especially back then too.
But looking back on it,
Yeah.
I feel like his accident was probably due to his prescription drug.
Gotcha.
But
Vicious
I
circle.
didn't know this. I didn't know this. And he was taking prescription drugs, and there were times where we'd be in the studio and he'd be falling out. Like he'd just be like
Dozing off.
Not just dozing off, but looking like he's
Right.
passing out, And I remember one time I kicked him out of the studio. I was like, go home. And I remember Braden that I used to work with. Braden came in and he goes, what's up with your boy? And I go, what do you mean? He goes, he's in the hallway, like leaning against the wall. And I go, I kicked him out a half hour ago. He couldn't even get down the hall.
Ugh.
I wish that I would have been mature enough and smart enough at that age to say, hey, this guy's got a drug problem and he needs help, instead of just assuming it was like a one-day binge thing, And then when he got cleaned up and everything was a lot better, and then when we came to the Bone, Brent came with me to the Bone, and he started doing it again, and he passed out during the show, and then finally I had to fire him on the air.
I remember that audio too.
Yeah.
Because that was the precursor to me being on the show.
Now think about it. My wife is pregnant. I got fired from my job. I can't imagine that I'm going to get another job. This is in the height of the Janet Jackson stuff. This is where everybody's worried about guys who are dirty. And the Bone, the most conservative company in Tampa, the Cox Media Group, hires me. And this is my chance. I just had a child, or I had a child coming any day now. I had gotten my last chance. There's nothing. If I screw this one up, I'm screwed. And then here's Brent, and then the one day he's falling asleep during the show, and I'm like, God damn it, this is our last chance, and you're messing it up. And he's since passed away, and I'm not speaking ill about him. He had a problem, you know what I mean? And he was a nice guy, and he had kids and stuff. It was terrible. But there's nothing there. I was angry at that time at him that he was jeopardizing our show and jeopardizing my career. And I did realize, though, at that point, I will never let anybody. I've worked way too hard to not only get here, but to salvage this after I've been here, and then to grow it into what it's become now. I've worked my ass off. I've made a lot of sacrifices, and I'm not going to let somebody else screw that up for me. So I don't care if it's drugs or if it's the girlfriend or if it's a lack of interest or whatever it is. I'm not letting anybody just bring the show down and lie and not show up. And I have one rule. I don't lie to me, because I can't fix things if I don't know the truth. If you tell me, Galvin, hey, I just need to take a couple of days off, I'd be like, all right, take them. I don't think there's anybody that's come to me and said I need to take a day off. And I go, well, you took a day off before. I mean, Carmen especially. If you came to me and was like, I need to take some time, I'd be like, go ahead, take it. And
well, even Spanish, when he needed to take time, it's like, yeah, man.
Yeah, I mean, like I know I'm not very emotional, but I am a human being, and I relate to other human beings. And I know that if you need time, especially in this job, it's not, although it's fun and it's not digging ditches and all stuff, it's mentally taxing after you've done it for a long time, and sometimes people just need to decompress and take a break. But I'm not going to let you lie and be deceiving and run around and do things that could potentially harm the show. And not after I've worked this hard.
And again, there is that separation, because especially he has been here for 14 years.
That's insane.
I've been here for 13 years. And I know if I take some time off, regardless of what it is, you're going to come on air and be like, she's lazy. She sucks at her job. Yeah. We're getting new. But I also know.
Do I also tell you off the air, not just you, Carmen, everybody, I go, even Spanish, I yell at Spanish, I go, look at you. What are you doing? You're terrible. And then we go to break and I go, I'm just kidding. And he goes,
right.
I know. I always tell him, I've made it very clear to everybody, if I have a problem with you, I will come straight to you and tell you off the air.
And
I will come straight to you.
Right. And I also know, because I know that's going to happen, I just don't listen. And I usually avoid social media for those hours. And and it's fine. And it's it never even happened. You know what I mean? It's very easy to avoid if you want to avoid something. So with that being said, if he needed time off, or if he was going through something, which he has, and he's taken time off, he could have easily asked for that.
Yeah.
But I know it made him worried, because the past few times he had to cancel or do something, he would call me and ask me, do you think it's okay if I ask to do this? I'm like, yes.
Well, why?
But you have.
Do you do that? Do you call Carmen and ask her if it's okay? Do you call anybody and ask her if it's okay? That speaks to his character.
Right. But that's him in his head. You know what I mean? And again, it's just but that's the other part of him overthinking and stuff like that. Again, there's nothing I can say or do to help him get over that.
Yeah, I've always, with my relationship with you, has always been, if something really bothered you, I think you would definitely tell me right away.
Yeah, there's no, if I don't,
I
it
never
doesn't get
worry
fixed.
about things like that, especially if it's on the show, whatever. I'm like, well, if that really bothered Mike, he would just tell me.
When I worked with the other guy, it was a Friday show could ruin a whole weekend because he was so manipulative and so overbearing, which is why everybody who works for him ends up hating him.
Who wants to deal with that?
Don't want to deal with that. But if you're trying to make a career
and you're kind of stuck,
and also if you're good at your job, you're going to take care of everything that you're supposed to take care of. But if I got a call that on a Friday afternoon about something, it would ruin my job. It would ruin my weekend. Last night I texted you and I asked you to do something for me. And
that ruined my whole night.
Are you? You're not.
By the way, I'd like to point out that there's only one person in this room that has dreams about Mike telling them that they just don't get it.
I was bummed that I couldn't do that.
I texted you last night and said, hey, can you do this for me real quick? And he said, I'm at my daughter's soccer game, but I could do it when I get home. And I thought when he got home, it might be too late. And I was like, no big deal. I'll just I'll do something else out. And I'm like, if I say it's no big deal, it's no big deal. If it was important, I'd be like, Gio, I really need this done right away. And that's it. And you know that, so that you should not have to, when I say it's okay, all good, you should say, okay, it's all good. That's it.
I very rarely worry outside of the show. Because you would just say, I feel like you would just let me know.
It doesn't make sense to do anything
different than that. I'm not just walking around wondering, did that upset my this or that? Or
it's
anybody.
funny, over the years, I have pointed out different things. I'm, Carmen, I've said it before. Carmen, I don't know how I do it. I'm always here on time. I don't know how, just like these little things and stuff. And it's never me patting myself on the back. It's me pointing out, that's what normal humans do.
It can be done.
Every day. Yeah. So many people are listening right now are like, yes, I'm always on time, or I'm always
late.
This, that. But the situation situations, it's like it doesn't have to be that difficult if you don't make it that difficult. You and I have worked together for almost 18 years.
Yeah.
We're totally fine. Like, there's never been anything where we're like, any problems are like, hey, we got to do this. And I'm like, yeah, all right, let's take care of this or whatever. It's not that hard to figure out.
Well, and but also like being on time, that is a very simple thing that an employee has to do at any job. It's not like this job, like time is like very crucial, obviously a little more crucial, but also it's more crucial for me here at the board. If
Right.
I'm not here, we're not going live.
Right.
If any of you guys are late, we could still, you know what I mean? But like at any job, you have to be on time. That is a requirement for employment.
And the worst part is that if you're not on time, I also usually don't care.
Right.
You know,
As long as everything's ready. For the
yeah,
show.
I mean, you're going to get your ass reamed
Yeah.
on the air because that's what we do, but I'm not like, oh, well, if you're late, you're fired. That's not usually how it goes. Lie to me, and it's a different story.
Yeah.
Right. That's not the case. And honestly, that it kind of like made me mad when I heard that he like was not like accepting responsibility.
No, it's turned out to be my fault from what I understand.